we've had 15 rounds, we've had ups, we've had downs, most of us, apart from maybe Saints, and you can be a bit sort of apathetic after, sort of halfway through the season. And then you go to Magic, and as you say, you rediscover the excitement and the love you have for the game. Even, watching Leeds against London, how passionate everyone can get about wanting Leeds to lose. Or, at our end, obviously, Salford and Rovers, wanting Salford to hold out and beat Rovers and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great event, and I have often said watching games as a neutral kind of gives you a different appreciation for what you're seeing and reminds you of how good our sport can be.
Yeah. And, just
great.
the little touches like, the Jackson Hastings with Jansen Turgett and the fans and...
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really talked. We mentioned it a little bit. We haven't really talked about all the other stuff that we got to see on the pitch. The PDRL game.
Oh, and
the LDRL games on both days. The mini games that they are going on.
That was really good to watch.
And then there was the try-tag rugby as well, which looks almost impossible to score a try in, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Certainly on half a pitch anyway. Maybe on a full pitch it's a different story. But, the try in the PDRL game where the Leeds player just raced up the wing and absolutely burned off Adam Hills, who obviously the celebrity PDRL man, was great, wasn't it? And the whole stadium went up for that one as well.
Yeah.
Some fantastic moments that Magic... Only Magic can really create them. Great stuff. I'm glad we were on the same page with that part of the episode. That's really good. Right, let's recap the last bit to cover off, which is predictions and the Super Brew. We don't have a fantasy league to talk about because there was no stats from the Leeds game, as we mentioned earlier when I was chatting to Josh. So that means we don't have full details for where people finished in the fantasy league this week at time of recording, but we do know from the predictions from last week, Tim went 4 out of 6. That marginally improves his record for the season so far to 59% success rate when he's been on the show. Alan went 3 out of 6, so he's on 67%, which is alongside you, Sarah. So you two are tying for the front runner when you've been on the show. You've got a chance to steal a March and Alan later on, and I'm on 66%. In the Super Brew, though, this is a very exciting race as the season's building. Sarah, you've moved to the top of the table, overtaking Alan.
Surprising.
Yeah, Carsten wears the yellow cap.
Because last week I got 6 out of 6 and I still didn't finish top. And then this week I've not had a particularly good week and I've overtaken Alan, so that's good.
Yeah, well, when I looked, you were at the top, so
I'm taking it.
Well done to you. Carsten's wearing the yellow cap as well, which is exciting for him. Right, and thanks everyone for getting in touch with your fan views on that one. I know sometimes it's harder on the second day of Magic Weekend to get them in, so we appreciate the people who made the effort in that. On the first day we got loads, which is great. Make sure you get your fan views in on next week's games. Of course, all the Big Four Challenge Cup games are televised, and we'll talk about that in predictions a little bit later on. But before we get to predictions, we're going to go through other results.
Okay, so it was round 15 in the Championship, and it finished Sheffield 16, Toronto 42.
Yeah, and with this game televised on Friday night, we got a couple of people getting in touch. POB 1976 said, not the best of games, Toronto too good for Sheffield. And Karsten said, that was very one-sided. Toronto just analled Sheffield at home. Sorry, but that is the honest description. Sheffield never looked like they were in the game, even if they scored, and Toronto's tries were just too easy.
It finished Toulouse 44, Lee 16, Barrow 54, Rochdale 10, Batley 24, Halifax 16, Featherstone 42, Bradford 4, and Widnes 12, York 16.
Paul O'Brien, of course, our Widnes man, said, poor performance from Widnes today, conceded too many penalties, didn't look like scoring, and both Widnes tries coming from Stark. York. I think that was meant to be York.
Oh, York errors.
That's what I go with. Anyway, thanks for that one, Paul. The lads are lacking confidence and need to get back to winning ways. Second from bottom after this week's results. All right, spoiler, we've got the standings coming, Paul. Come on.
And then Swinton 22, Dewsbury 17.
Yeah, so in the standings, Toronto stay clear at the top on 28 points. Toulouse are second on 22, with York, recently promoted York's third on 20 points. Featherstone now lead a group of 3 on 18 points. That group includes Sheffield and Lee, so the part-timers are pushing up there into the playoff spots. Bradford and Halifax are both on 16 points, are also in the playoff race. Batley in 9th have 12 points. Swinton are up to 10th on 8 points, with Dewsbury dropping to 11th on 7 after that Swinton win against the Rams. Barrow up to 12th on 5, with Widnes dropping to 13th on 4 points. Rochdale stay bottom with just 2 points. It looks a bit bleak for Rochdale.
It does. So in League One, it was round 10, and it finished Whitehaven 32, London 6, Keighley 12, Oldham 52, Coventry 18, North Wales 34.
And of course, our man on the PA down at the Broad Butt, as we're calling the temporary stadium that they're at, Tim G Radio said, Cov came up short against an organised but unspectacular North Wales side. The Bears were hampered by too many missed chances and injuries to Newman and Sherratt. It was also frustrating for me as the PA system cut out one word in 3, meaning I could barely be heard. Onward.
It finished Doncaster 54, West Wales 0, and Newcastle 18, Hunslet 32.
So yeah, the top game there was important for the standings. Whitehaven now go clear at the top on 15 points, although the Scholars do stay second on 13 points. Oldham and Hunslet are chasing on 12 points. Newcastle are fifth on 9, with Doncaster and Workington just behind on 8 points. North Wales and Coventry have 6 points. So pretty congregated there in that part of the table. But West Wales, they have 0 in 8th, and Keighley are bottom on -1 and lost after sacking their coach. So more fool them.
Indeed. In the Women's Challenge Cup, it was round 2, and it finished Castleford 48, Featherstone 2.
This one was live on the R-League app on Thursday night. So Carsten found more. God, he must have been allowed a second weekend in a row off from his new girlfriend, was Carsten, because he's got in on touch on another game. He said Fev made it a game for the first 30 minutes, but after Tara Stanley was sin-binned, Cass used the additional space much better than Fev. The second half was very one-sided, and Kelsey Gentles had a dream match with 4 tries.
Fat Boy Rob got in touch and he said it was a good solid performance in front of over 1,100 people on a sunny Thursday evening. Kelsey Gentles was the star this week with 4 tries, including a 90-metre kick return and another from her own half. Other highlights were a show and go try from Roach and a try from Marshall. Tara Stanley was lucky to get away with the yellow for leading with the elbow. She didn't miss.
Great crowd though.
Yeah, really good.
Really positive in the building as well. The crowd's there, so that's great to see, and hopefully some of the other teams maybe can follow suit in that as well, because Castleford definitely leading the way on and off the pitch, it seems, this year, along with St Helens in the women's competition.
They're really bigging it up, aren't they?
Definitely. Do you want to...
Oh yeah, sorry, it was the Army Rugby League 14, Wigan 50.
And this was part of a double header at the Broad Butt, so Tim G was also on the PA system, the scratchy PA system for this one. He said, decent game to watch. Wigan proved too strong for a spirited Army side who put in a lot of work and had a few decent breaks. Army fullback Abby Etok also made a fantastic cover tackle, hauling down a Wigan player who looked set to score. Wigan had made changes and Rachel Thompson played at 6 but was still excellent. Is there a more fearsome one-on-one tackler in the game right now? Well, everyone knows that I'm a big Rachel Thompson fan.
In other matches, it was Barrow 19, Warrington 38, Keighley Albion 50, Halifax 7, the RAF 0, Bradford 56, Stanningley 0, St Helens 96, Wakefield 20, Widnes 6, and York 0, Leeds 70. So some big scores there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's obviously a disparity, isn't there, in the moment between the top 4 or 5 sides and some of the sides coming up. But progress being made by teams like Widnes and Warrington in their performances. So there's hopefully those gaps will start closing as things progress in the Women's Super League. NRL round 11 then, Sarah.
Yeah, so it finished the Eels 10, the Panthers 16, Sea Eagles 18, the Titans 36, the Knights 38, the Roosters 12.
Yeah, no Ryan Hall, so he didn't back up from his first week into his second week, unfortunately for him.
No, the Raiders 16, the Cowboys 22.
And they're missing the linchpin that is John Bateman, but Elliot White had 40 tackles. Hodgson and Sutton were also involved from a Brit Watch perspective.
The Warriors 2, the Broncos 8, the Rabbitohs 32, West Tigers 16.
Some big Burgess meters in this one, Sarah. Tom made 175, Sam made 188, and even George made 144.
Good stats there. It was the Bulldogs 6, the Storm 28, and the Dragons 9, the Sharks 22.
Yeah, and James Graham was one of those players on that Dragons side that must have kicked a pointless drop goal at some point.
So in the standings...
The standings, Rabbitohs move clear now at the top on 20 points with just one defeat from their 11 games. The Storm are second on 18 and the Roosters fall to third on 16 points. A group of 4 on 12 are led by the informed Newcastle Knights, followed by the Raiders, the Sea Eagles and the Sharks. The Eels head another group of 4 on 10. With the Broncos, West Tigers and Cowboys. The Warriors and Dragons have 8 points. The bottom 3, Titans, Panthers and Bulldogs, all have 6 points. That's other results swiftly done this week, and we make no apologise for not focusing on those too much, even though the Women's Challenge Cup deserves good focus, because we just didn't get a chance to see those games, did we at all, Sarah? We were busy in Liverpool.
We were.
Okay, we're now going to make some predictions, though, for the Challenge Cup quarterfinals that are ahead of us. Predictions time then, Sarah. It is the Challenge Cup quarterfinals. I get to sit back and relax this weekend and watch all your lot go at it. And your side, Hull FC, are the first side we'll see. Thursday night, 7:35. This one's on Sky. Hull FC versus Catalans. Do you think you'll choose to play well in this one or not?
I think we will. I think Radford still has desires to win another Challenge Cup. And I think we can't guarantee anything in the league, so he's going to be throwing all of his eggs into the cup basket. So I've gone for a 31-28 victory for us.
I've got to go against you on this one.
Scandal.
I've just I've seen the last few games from the Catalans. They've been playing pretty well. They've actually started to win on English soil, and one place where they've not struggled too much winning is in Hull, actually, over recent years. So I think Catalans. I've got Catalans by 7. Let's go 25-18 to the Dragons.
Okay.
Friday night Sky game, also 7:35. Remember these 10 minutes earlier than normal kickoffs, guys?
I know, it's a nightmare because Joshua's got a rugby match. His match is on Thursday, so we're going to have to dash down after that.
Are they not moving it earlier for you?
No, because of getting there.
Oh. Well, just leave school early. What's he going to learn at school that he's not going to learn on the playing fields at Might and Warriors? Isn't
it? So he's not learning anything at school.
Oh, it's half term! So why? Yeah, it could be earlier, could it?
Well, apart from these coaches that have like real jobs and stuff.
What?
I know.
Shocking. We'll have to up our donations to help get these community coaches going full time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Friday also in Hull. Sky won't have to move their TV trucks very far. They just have to move them down to the Rovers Caravan Park, and it's Hull Kingston Rovers versus Warrington Wolves. So I struggle to see past Warrington in this game. I just think they've got too much quality compared to what Hull KR have got. So I think, although they've not been supreme and consistent recently, Warrington, I think that part of that's because they've come up against sides who've played with good intensity and motivation. And I'm not suggesting Hull KR can't play with good intensity and motivation, but we've certainly seen that they can't do it for 80 minutes. So I think I've got Warrington winning by, I'm going to say Warrington by 16. 30 points to 14, that's what I'll go. Oh, that's what you've gone as well.
That is what I've gone, yeah. I've gone for Warrington 30, Rovers 14.
Yeah.
But to be honest, a bigger scoreline wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, it really depends on how much up Warrington can get on Hull KR, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because they might collapse like they did on another big occasion at the Derby.
Yep.
I hope that they're in the game for a long period of this game, though, and it tires them out, because Wigan have got Hull KR the week after these cup quarterfinals. Right. Saturday, we move on to the BBC, and it's a 3:15 p.m. kickoff for St Helens versus Wakefield. And I think when I was talking to David Powell, I can't remember if this was on what we recorded or on what we just said to each other, but I think I talked about them playing at Wakefield, and they're not playing at Wakefield, they're playing at St Helens. So that changes my thinking on this game, and I'm going Saints by 20. What about you?
I've gone Saints by 22. No, I haven't at all. I've gone Saints by 12, 28.